Yo, what's up guys, it's Talon, and today we're going to be talking about the jungler that pretty much just wants to fight 24/7. So if you're a type of player who really likes fast-paced gameplay, who just likes to be actually fighting and your champion is supposed to fight instead of just, ganking 24/7 on a champion that's not supposed to, this is kind of the champion for you. So we're going to be talking about Warwick. If you guys don't know, I've been rank 1 at Warwick before, and quickly before we get into the gameplay, I want to mention the build, because the build has changed slightly from the past. So typically now the build that we go for is Trinity, defensive boots, whichever is best for the opponent. Then we go for Terminus, and third item we go for an AP item. We're going to go for Riftmaker if we're into tanks, Soul Stealer, Awakened Soul Stealer that is, if we are into squishies, Trident, Trident if we need anti-shield, and Morello Namicon if we need anti-healing. Couple things to keep in mind for the clear. So I actually didn't do it here, I messed it up. You don't want to smite your first buff that you do. The first buff you do, you want to kill it fully, and then you want to level up your second ability and immediately smite the next camp you go to, because you do more damage to camps when they're below 50% HP, because you get the passive on them. Even though the thing doesn't trigger, you actually do get the attack speed passive, and so it's better for your clear that way. So a little thing to keep in mind for the clear. And then as a Warwick, we're always going to want to path towards a lane that we think is more volatile. So in this case, Varus is probably going to push forward, because ranged top laners usually push forward and they fight a lot. And so because I knew that's going to happen, I pathed towards him and I expect to possibly find a kill. Whereas Pyke and Misfortune, they're good laners, but Melio, I forget that ADC, I can't see what the ADC is right now, but whatever ADC it is, it's not that easy to gank and kill. It's a Senna, right? So Senna with her like mist and whatever, not super easy to kill. And with the Melio and everything, it's just less likely to kill. There's more volatility in the lane on the Varus, and so we end up catching out to Varus, as we see here, because he is overextending. And again, usually they do this on the ranged top laner, is very, very common. Because of that, we're able to find the early kill. So the reason you're able to fight a lot on Warwick is because of the second ability passive. The way the second ability passive works is if the enemy are below 50% HP, you get a trail towards them, which gives you more movement speed and more attack speed on the target. And it also, again, gives you the trail revealing where they are. So anyone who's below 50% HP, you can go to it really, really fast and gank the heck out of them. So you want to always be running to these fights using that movement speed passive to get all over the place. So you can see here, even we see a low health Fizz. What am I going to do? I'm going to run at him as fast as humanly possible, and I'm going to look for the kill. Now, unfortunately, we barely did not get there in time, so he is able to dash out, which means that we do end up dying to the Lilia. But we get the Lilia ultimate out, and again, we're getting a couple kills on ourselves, which really allows us to continue to fight and snowball. So like, you're going to have a lot of these, quicker paced games where you will sometimes get counter ganked, you sometimes will die, but as long as you're getting kills out of it, you're helping out your laners, this type of thing is important. And you don't want to forget to farm. A lot of people, when they're, when they get caught up in all this fighting, they forget to grab their camps as well. But it is important to make sure you're grabbing your camps. And so even though I have ganked twice already, I've farmed each of my sides of the map once, and I'm going to definitely farm, more. In this case, again, there's a fight, so I'm going to go right away. Like, in this case, there's a fight that looks possibly fightable, so I'm going to look for it. But then I realize, okay, there's nothing we can actually do here. Let me farm. So you got to take advantage of the small windows where you realize there's no fight to then farm. And so that's what I end up doing here. I end up getting all 3 of my camps. Yes, I only get 2. Why is that I only get 2? Right, so in this situation, we actually saw that the Senna is overextended, and so we decide to look for the gank. So this is kind of the thing that you do with Warwick, like you're farming your camps, but you're always looking to see if there's an opportunity. And so in this case, I had a Pyke who could engage, and a Senna who, if she didn't flash, would have died. And so then, again, forcing the fights a bit more here. So even though we have a little bit of farm up, in this case, I know Lilia is going to go back to her blue side because she was here for a while, and so I know I can force another play with my teammates and look for some type of dive. And then if she does stick around here, I'm totally fine with that, right? Because she just does something like this, where now her blue side is up, and she ends up forcing a fight onto me, where I'm a way stronger early game champion who wants to fight. Lilia wants to farm. Like, she's an early or a late game champion who doesn't do much early game. So if she does match me there, which again was bad because of inefficiency, she had her blue buff up, she's probably going to die like she did there, because again, just a worse champion at fighting, whereas my champion is a lot stronger and a lot better at fighting in the early game, as you kind of saw there. And so in that situation, obviously we were able to do quite well, and we're able to get another kill out of it. So overall, already 4 kill participation, only 1 death, and that's usually what you're looking for, is just a bunch of fighting and fighting. So even here, I'm looking and seeing, like, can I run to this Varus? This Varus is low health. I can probably very easily chase him down and dive him. So even though I have camps up, because my passive's on someone, I'm gonna go gank them. And so if you want the general rule for if you should go gank or not, it's pretty much like if your passive's on someone, you can probably look for a gank. Unfortunately, Lilia does show up. It's a good play by her, and we do dive from it. Almost able to ult out. We get her flash, but a little unfortunate. But yeah, pretty much, if your passive is up on someone, it's probably okay to fight most of the time. Not always, but usually. And then again, we go back to farming here before we look for the objective. And again, we're just looking to see wherever we can find a kill if our passive's on someone, something like that. Fizz stares at us menacingly. Varus decides to walk up and go 1 HP for no reason, which ranged top laners do, because ranged top laners, they have this really crazy thing where they don't have a brain. It's like a unique passive when you lock in a ranged top laner. And then Fizz is not able to quite burst me down because of my third ability, which is a bunch of damage reduction, if you guys don't know. And Pyke gets a nice hook there. We're able to get the first ability. And again, you have a lot of situations where you're going to be on low health. You're going to have these kind of outplay moments where maybe you would die, maybe you'd outplay them. But that's just how the champion works. When he's below 50% HP, he gets 100% more healing. When the enemy are below 50% HP, he gets more damage, like more attack speed towards them, movement speed towards them. So you want to be fighting on low health. You want to be fighting people who are low health, and you just got to trust yourself to outplay, to juke people properly, to do these types of things. And so if you're that type of person who likes fighting, likes playing mechanically, because even though Warwick is not mechanically intensive in his skills, he's mechanically intensive in the sense that you need to dodge really well, and you need to consistently be fighting and outplaying people and understanding your limits. So he's a champion where you have to play him a lot to really understand the limits and go for all these different fights as much as you can. So again, here, like even looking for an invade on his blue or on his red buff because my teammate was there, but then I realized he's not there, or that we would die if we fight. So we end up grabbing our blue side, again taking this brief time where there's no fight to get some gold. That's another thing with Warwick. He's one of the few champions that it's way more common that you're going to just be sitting on a bunch of gold. Like you see me sitting on 3,400 gold. This is not good. You don't want to sit on 3,400 gold. But Warwick sometimes just has so many different fight opportunities, and if you understand his limits really well, you're going to see chances to squeeze an additional kill out of it rather than going for the recall right away. And then you squeeze additional gold. really important. And again, it's risky. Like it's a risky play style. It's hard to perfect, and you have to be able to know the limits really well. The kind of way I figured this out, like I was initially, when I was first learning Warwick a while ago, I really didn't understand the champion that well, and I played him like I played every other champion, and I was wondering like, oh, he must just suck in team fights. Like I'm never getting leads. Like I'm getting like leads. I'm farming, but I'm not getting big enough leads. I'm not snowballing well, and I just get outscaled. And then I watched a Warwick player, a Chinese Warwick player at the time, on YouTube. And he was always like, he was having 4,000 gold plus in his pocket at times. And I was like, this is so bad. Why would he ever be doing this? But it's just because he sees so many different opportunities to fight. And this champion's limits are so insane. He's so good at 1v1s that oftentimes you do need to stay on the map a little longer if you see that opportunity to do something. Now, if you see no opportunity to fight, don't fight. But if your passive's on someone, you know the enemy jungler is somewhere else, you see that it's a squishy low health champion that you can one-shot, then go for it. You have to understand when your champion can do this. You have to look for these outplays. And that's what's going to allow you to snowball, because you snowball through kills as Warwick, not through farm. Like you want to farm, you need to farm, but your champion is pretty reliant on getting kills. Like if you go look at my Warwick games, I average over 10 kills on this champion this season. If you look at my other jungle games, I average like 6, 7 on these other champions, because I'm looking for these fights in side lane. Again, someone goes on side lane too far like this Fizz, you gotta go catch him out. Like it's extremely important, even though I have my top side camp spawning, because now I can get this bottom lane wave, I can recall, spend all that gold, and then I go for my top lane now. So it's super fast paced. This is why I'm talking fast, I'm talking loudly, so that you guys can understand that this champion is really aggressive, really, you know, constantly fighting, and also just because it's late at night, and whenever it's late at night and I'm recording a video, I'm a bit loopy, so there's that as well. I'm recording an additional jungle video because I'm working tomorrow, and the whole weekend I'll be working a lot, so I won't have as much time to record. So we have 2 jungle videos instead of the normal cycling between the different roles, just because I haven't played Baron Lane yet, but we're going to play Baron Lane tomorrow. Probably make a video on it in a couple days as well. I'll be working the next 2 weekends in general, about 28, 29 hours each weekend, Friday through Sunday. So I'll be streaming a little less on those days, and I'll be streaming not at all on the Saturdays because I work like 12, 13 hours on the Saturdays, but I can stream a little bit on the Fridays and Sundays overall. So I'm just letting you guys know that as well. The videos might be slightly different in terms of we won't just have it cycle between roles. We might have a couple days of the same role and then move on, that type of thing. But overall, again, just keeping up the pace of the game. As I was talking, giving you guys that random rant, I got another kill, I think. And then at this point now, we're just like, can we force the Baron, or are we going to force a fight? We're looking for something. Because again, just constant fighting and fighting, looking for something. And the problem with this playstyle, again, is like sometimes you're going to throw games because you're going to then overextend in a situation you shouldn't have. And that's where it's really, really difficult to find that balance of fighting all the time, but not fighting so much that, you know, you randomly end the game. So like when you do get a big enough lead, at some point you have to kind of start getting objectives out of it, or, you know, chill a bit and wait until your teammates are in the right spot to fight. Like, you can't always do this. And if you're not snowballing early, sometimes you're more team reliant. So like, let's say I didn't have a good early game, but my teammates were doing well. My job then becomes not to perma fight, but to engage for my team and set them up, because you're really good at locking down a single target. So if the enemy have a fed, you know, Vayne with a Lulu, maybe you lock onto that Lulu and make sure that Lulu can't play the game, or whatever the case may be. Or you ult to protect your carry, right? So you can't just do this every single game, but in a game where you're snowballing really well, where you get a lot of those fights, where your passive's proccing a lot because your laners are fighting a lot, they're volatile laners that you path towards the correct laner, you get kills, whatever, then you go for it, right? So it just depends. And again, you see me sitting on 3,500 gold because we were just fighting and fighting and fighting, getting a bunch of kills out of them, and then now recalling, making sure we still spend that gold when we can. So now I'm on 3 items. I'm gonna get a Twin Guard 4th item and a Spirit Massage 5th. That's usually the last 2 items for the most part, due to the fact that you are already gonna do enough damage on 3 items that you just want to be tankier so you don't die. And the Spirit Massage increases your healing, so you heal like 1,000,000 health a second. Yeah, that's the number. I did the math. It's 1,000,000. You got to just believe me here. And then again, we see someone who we can one-shot, because at this point, if you're hitting 3 items, you can one-shot any squishy champion. You can one-shot a Lilia, Emilio, a Varus, whoever. And so if I see them caught out, I'm going to ult onto them. I'm going to one-shot them. I'm going to Q out, make sure I E when I go in the ult in. And I'm going to just, you know, that's really all there is to it. It's not a too complicated of a champion. You fight and you fight and you fight. And that is the gist of it. Again, another random just person on side lane. I'm going to go catch the Fizz out. And then we'll push with the Baron, make sure we can get what we can out of it. Go for the turret here. And we do break it. And again, I have the limits where I know, like, I can literally fight this guy under tower and probably not die, or maybe die. I don't remember. Nope, I don't die because I Q and heal myself. And so it's just these random little outplays you get. Like, there was no real risk of that, because if I died, there's no objective up. We don't lose much, and we get the inhib anyway. If I don't die, then I'm not dead, and that's really cool. Not dying is awesome. Really, really fun. And yeah, so I just like this playstyle. It's just constant fighting. We've been having a bunch of success with Warwick today, which is why we made a video on it. We're up to 20 marks now on the jungle account. And again, Warwick has been a big reason why. And yeah, again, my passive's on someone. Okay, that means I'm going to go fight them. I end up going for Melio, realizing I can one-shot him, making him very sad. Shout out to Pike for following. And again, we just run down the Lilia, make her flash, everything like that. For some reason, she walks back at me so I can Q onto her. Don't know why she did that, but she did. And now we go run at Fizz, and because, you know, my champion's annoying and stupid, I will run at him forever and ever and ever, and then I'll W onto him because he went above 50% HP, so I need to get the active on him. I E so that he can't kill me. Now I ult onto him, and boom, another person's dead. Okay, what now? Let me go chase more people. Let me go fight, 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 because all I do on the champion is fight. For some reason, Senna flashes like that because she's a stupid little idiot, and we kill her. So yeah, at this point, 16 kills, 9 assists in 15 minutes, 25 kill participation. This is what this champion does. You fight. And so if you feel like your teammates are non-stop fighting and you don't know what to do about it, maybe lock in the Warwick, and then you can just fight with him and be an idiot. And then I realized that I hate Melio when I watch this. Melio is stupid and dumb, but we turn on to the Varus and kill him anyway, because my champion's also kind of stupid and dumb, to be honest with you guys. And then we go and we kill Melio as well, or my teammate takes the kill because he's mean. And so yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video of me rambling as you guys watch me kill everyone on Warwick in about 15 minutes, then I hope you would like the video or subscribe or whatever else. I also have memberships on my YouTube channel. I think a lot of people don't even know that those exist, but it's like $5 for a month, and for the memberships you get access to my coaching notes. If you DM me on Discord with proof of it, you get emotes, and I don't know, I think you might get other things. I don't really remember. I'm not a very good YouTuber, to be honest with you guys, but I do hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.